Sinbad the Sailor. Sinbad the Sailor was rich beyond his wildest dreams. Travel and adventure had brought him all the wealth he could wish for. But Sinbad felt restless. He wanted to see the world, find out how other men lived and explored their cities and islands. So he went to the market and bought silks and spices to trade. Then he joined a ship's crew and set out on the high seas. For days they sailed from island to island, trading their goods. One day they moored on an island covered in fruit trees. Sinbad lay down in the shade of the tree to take a nap. When he awoke, his ship had already set sail. "Help!" he cried, "help!" But there wasn't a soul to answer him. Sinbad scrambled up a tree and saw that on one side there was nothing but sea. On the other, the empty island stretched out before him, empty but for one enormous white egg. Sinbad slid down the tree and crept over to look at the egg. As he studied it, the sun was blotted out by a bird as big as a cloud. "A rock bird," recognized Sinbad, remembering sailors' tales of a monstrous bird. The rock settled down to sit on its egg, and Sinbad planned his escape. He unwound the turban on his head and tied it around the leg of the bird. "When it flies away, it'll take me with him," he thought. At first light of dawn, the rock rose up on its enormous wings and flew so high Sinbad could no longer see the earth. He clung on tight, shutting his eyes until he felt the rock hit the ground with a bump. Sinbad quickly untied his turban, just in time to see the bird snap up a terrifying snake in its jaws and fly off once more. Sinbad groaned as he looked around. He was in a worse situation than before. Now he was trapped in a valley with steep sides. Dead sheep lay on the ground, and slithering towards him were snakes so big they could swallow an elephant. The snakes were sliding over sparkling jewels that studded the dusty earth. Sinbad grabbed a few handfuls and stuffed them into his pockets, wondering how he would ever escape. More rock birds were circling above him. Every now and then one would swoop down and grab a dead sheep in its vicious claws. "Aha!" thought Sinbad, whipping off his turban once again. He tied himself to a dead sheep and waited. Sure enough, down came a rock, grabbed the sheep, and they were off, Sinbad trailing along behind. As the rock bird flew over the ridge of the valley, a group of men raced towards it, waving their arms and forcing the rock to drop the sheep. Sinbad undid himself and scrambled to one side, watching curiously as the men searched the sheep's fleece. "What are you doing?" he asked. "We threw sheep into the valley, hoping to catch jewels in their fleece. Then we wait for the rock birds to bring them back up again." "But how did you get here?" asked one of the men, looking at Sinbad. "Don't pretend you escaped from Snake Valley." "It's a long story," said Sinbad, "but I do have some jewels." He pulled them out of his pocket. "Will you take these for my passage home?" The men nodded, listening in amazement to Sinbad as he shared his tale of adventure and escape. The